Bin L. Lee, a Smyrna resident, was found deceased. According to Detective Lieutenant Steve Craig, Lee died as the result of gunfire. Investigators have not disclosed the circumstances surrounding the incident, but the case remains active. The Sheriff's Office urges anyone with relevant information to come forward as the investigation continues. Meanwhile, in Smyrna, a separate incident on January the 9th underscored the
At Maples Realty and Auction, we handle
.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Welcome into the Roundtable, everybody. It's another Wednesday morning. Chip Walters with you from Exit Realty, Bob Lamb and Associates, and the Blue Raider Network, and by magic of recording and all of that kind of stuff. While I am in Ruston, Louisiana, actually today for tonight's men's basketball game with Louisiana Tech, I've had the good fortune to connect with Jen Grafton. She is a personal trainer here in Murfreesboro, and during last week's road trip out west to UTEP and New Mexico State, I was trying to think, okay, who can I get on the show this week that, you know, here in January, people are kind of doing things and getting restarted, getting, you know, re-energized, things like that. So, you know, somebody who helps other people make themselves better would be a great opportunity. And it just so happened that I ran across Jen and I asked her if she would mind coming on the show, and she jumped at the opportunity. She doesn't know what a big mistake she made, but she'll figure that out as we go along. But with that, I say welcome to Jen Grafton. Jen, how are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing really well. Thank you, Chip.
I appreciate it very much. Okay, it's a new year. You know, you see everybody make all of their New Year's resolutions and all of the things like that. What in your experience with people who want to try to get back in shape or do whatever, is it a good idea to make it to make a New Year's resolution, or just a conscious decision of, hey, I want to do this and help myself?
I think that would be the better way to go, instead of like trying to push yourself and not being able to, you know, get like the results that you want. Because it is like, health is a lifetime like thing. It's not just a short term, you know, work out for a couple of months and get what you want. I really encourage people to like live the life you want for the rest of your life. So make all the changes you need to, so that you can be healthy, like as you age, as you get older. So
yeah,
that's what I would encourage.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Now, what got you into health, fitness, and trying to help others? What was the, you know, was it something you gradually got into, or was there a trigger point somewhere?
I started with my dad when I was 13. My dad kept charts in the garage and I lifted with him. So I would wake up, he worked midnights and he would come in from midnights and lift. So I would see him lift and I always wanted to do whatever he was doing. And so I started lifting and loved it. I would run with him and hated it. I played basketball in middle school, hated running, but I did love the lifting part of it. And so from then on, I've lifted since I was 13 years old. And then I grew up with silly diets, Slim Fast, all the silly things that they push on you. So I've really, really worked hard on trying to find the best way to anti-age and care for your body. And so that's kind of been my path as I've gotten older, or as I've aged. So I raised children. And then in 2004, I got my certification through ACE. And then I went to MTSU for exercise science. So I kind of did my duties with the kids and then went into my passion after that. And I've always, even when the kids were babies, when they would rest, I would work out. So it's always been a part of my life.
Yeah. And, sometimes because you started this at a young age and you've been going all along. For somebody who has led a sedentary lifestyle, but all of a sudden says, okay, I need to change things. Is it possible that can happen?
It is never too late to get strong, ever, ever, ever. So my boyfriend's grandfather, I met him in July and he's 90 and he has Parkinson's. And he said, is there anything you can do for me, Jen? And I said, it is never too late to get stronger. And so he's in an assisted living and I saw him at Christmas and he couldn't wait to tell me about his therapists that were making him stronger and that were helping him with his balance. And so even at 90, it's never too late, to get stronger ever. It's always great to start. And especially as we age, weak legs are a sign that you're not going to live very long. So you have to keep your legs strong, for stepping up, going up steps or walking, whatever, keeping your balance because you don't want to fall. So it's always it's never, ever, ever too late to start getting strong.
That's good advice. Again, kind of, and I apologize for bouncing around here a little bit, but you talked about growing up. You were young, and your dad was working graveyard shift and coming in before you went to school. You grew up in East Tennessee, and in and around the Oak Ridge area up that way, and so that is that is an area of it, while it is the mountainous part of East Tennessee and can be kind of out in the country. It's interesting because you have an awful lot of highly educated, highly motivated people that were around Oak Ridge National Laboratory, might have worked at UT, it almost had kind of a college town vibe to it with everything that was going on at Oak Ridge National Laboratory.
Yeah, a lot of sciences. So it is. My family was from the country, and so my grandmother was pulled from high school to work in the plants, but a lot of scientists came from other parts of the country to build the bomb and create Oak Ridge. And Oak Ridge High School is an incredible, high school. And so very, very smart people in the area for sure.
So do you have relatives who actually worked on the bomb at ORNL?
I did. My grandmother, they brought the women in because their hands were small and could handle the dials, but you weren't allowed to know what you were doing. So she had no idea. She thought she was making toasters. And so, it was like, you don't hear anything, you don't say anything, you don't see anything. And so that was, you went in and did your job and you left and you had no idea what was happening in the plant. So yeah, she thought she was making toasters.
So everybody had their own little thing. Your grandmother might have been someone who put a spring on something or some dial on something that eventually became a larger part of a bigger project on down the assembly line.
Pictures of the ladies, they were all sitting down the line and they just worked dials. I'm not really sure what they were doing, and she didn't know what she was doing. But yeah, they did. They closed the high schools and moved, the ladies into the plant to do that.
That's that's kind of amazing, and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff out there on YouTube and whatever else, and well, you had the movie Oppenheimer that kind of shed a lot of light on that project. Did you watch that, and did the story of that movie kind of match up with any of your relatives?
A little bit of it was in Oak Ridge, but it's just interesting that they brought all the homes in, and all those homes are still the same because it was just mud, before they came in to make the Manhattan Project, and so it was called the Secret City. It wasn't even on the map, and so there's still all these homes that they had shipped in and built, for the workers to live in that now people own in Oak Ridge. So it's a really interesting, interesting story, like interesting place.
Yeah. Over the last 30 or plus years, I've known a lot of, student athletes who ended up, whether they were football players or basketball players or whatever, that ended up coming to MTSU, or in whether they played or not, still have friends that went there, and they all have their own individual stories. And like yourself, your family was native to the area, but there were a lot of folks who got moved into there, and the same is a little bit true down in Tullahoma, because you've got the UT Space Institute and an Air Force base there, and you have an awful lot of stuff, and people moved in to do all kinds of different things during to help support the war effort. And being able to talk to somebody who had relatives that were involved in some of these major things is kind of cool.
Great for the town. It grew the town. It gave, my dad worked in the coal mines or drove a coal truck, and then when the government was like wanting to give him a job, it was like, should I take it or not? What's the future for that position? And it did. My parents did really well working for the government in that position. So it did. It gave a lot of people incomes in the area. So it was very good for the area. But then also they did bury a lot of chemicals, and so a lot of people ended up getting sick from it also.
Oh, so. Yeah. And you've got that, all around the steam plant there at Harriman, and a lot of stuff, where TVA came in, and there have been lawsuits and all of that have been part of it. Now, what about your dad? You said your dad kind of inspired you. He worked overnights. What did he do?
Utility worker at Y12 in the weapons plant. So that's what he did. And then he was a marathon runner and lifted weights. And so he kept charts for me in the garage, and I learned like how to lift like through him. And then so interesting, he like a couple of years ago, I built a program for him so that he could do bands. So he gets up and does cardio and then does bands. It's a band that hooks into the door. Mm-hmm. And so I took pictures of him so he would know exactly what to do. So he taught me when I was 13, and now I'm teaching him, at 56 years old, like what to do now, and him almost 80 years old.
Yeah, but it just goes to show it's never too late. And we're going to, dive into this a little bit farther. But, you said you guys were kind of a country family. What possessed him to all of a sudden want to be a marathon runner? Where was his inspiration?
I think playing football in high school. He went to Oliver Springs High School, and probably just the athletics of it. I think it's just kind of in our bloodstream, I guess. Like that's it keeps our anxiety down, or and keeps us level with the exercise. And so I learned that from him, that just it's an everyday thing.
And you said you started lifting weights, and he started keeping charts on you. Now, obviously, you've got some athletic genes in you from him. And what else did you do from an athletic standpoint outside of weightlifting? Did you play team sports or individual activities? What did you do?
All like little league up until like middle school, but then I played basketball against Jennifer Azey. She was at Oak Ridge High School, and
I was going to ask about her.
yeah, I think one of the last games I played, she threw a ball off of me as she was falling out of bounds, and I was like, yeah, this is not for me. I'm not that good. Like,
Okay,
Jennifer Azey was amazing.
Yeah, she was one of the all-time greats, and to ever come out of this state. And Coach Pruden at Oak Ridge, she and Coach Insel, who's now at MTSU and was at Shelbyville, they had some unbelievable battles over time. Before we take our first break, people, if people want to find you and hear what they find here interesting on this show, how can they go about learning more? What this is an opportunity to kind of put the word out.
Book under Jennifer Chadwick Grafton, and I do a lot of education videos on Facebook. You can reach out to me and ask me any questions. I'd love to help everybody, so that would probably be the best way, and then we can get in contact and we can do a consult call, and I'll lead you in whatever direction that you're wanting to go and make you healthy. So,
did you ever think that a big part of what you were trying to do to help others would end up the conduit for that might be Facebook or somewhere on the internet?
So I drove to my clients for several years. I drove about 1,000 miles a week carrying weights. I have clients in Nashville, all over Nashville and Murfreesboro. And so then when COVID came, my mom had gotten me a Facebook portal. So I just started training people on TV, all my clients everywhere. So now I have clients in Orlando and South Carolina and Knoxville, and then I can train anywhere. So it's been really awesome. So being on TV that way has made Facebook and social media like a little more easy. But no, I never dreamed, but I love educating people. So it's really been awesome.
All right, Jen Grafton, she is our guest today. She is a personal trainer, and if you go to her Facebook page, Jennifer Chadwick Grafton, you can find out more about her and see some of her videos. We're going to take a time out, and we'll be back more with Jen Grafton here on the Roundtable on WGNS.
Whether it's a cough, a fever, or something you can't quite name, MMC Now makes care easy. Walk right in, get seen quickly, and your visit connects directly to your MMC doctor. Care you trust, with providers you know, with digital check-in and multiple locations around town. MMC Now is here when you need us.
Murfreesboro Medical Clinic.
At Maples Realty and Auction, we handle traditional sales, auctions, and property management. And we have a development called The Maples with local builders and amenities. I'm Betsy Maples, and this is our team. It's our people. That's the difference. Call us today and let us help you get your property sold.
I refer a lot of clients to Maples Realty when we have real estate issues that are coming up. Working with Maples has been easy for me, easy for my clients.
Put our 57 years of success to work for you. Sold!
When the weather turns bad, minutes, even seconds matter.
This is an early heads up for southern Rutherford County.
Rutherford Weather brings you live radar and expert meteorologist insight, giving you the early heads up when storms threaten.
A lot of areas are going to see some impacts from this storm.
From analysis to live camera views, we keep you informed before, during, and after the storm.
I think the vast majority of the hail with this now is going to be quarter to perhaps golf ball size.
Rutherford Weather. Stay ahead of the storm.
Well, yeah, I'll be right there.
takes all of us to power a community, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
Life's too short to stress about insurance. That's why Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance is here to make sure you have the right coverage without all the hassle. He'll work hard to provide you with personalized service and finding the best solutions for you and your family. Whether you're looking for auto, home, or business insurance, Rick Hall's got you covered. Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency. Let him handle the details so you can focus on what really matters.
Good Neighbor Events is brought to you by Old National Bank, the law offices of John Day, and AmeriCare Pest Control.
This is a paid legal ad.
Hi, this is John Day of the law offices of John Day. My team and I have worked hard to help injured people throughout Middle Tennessee. We've helped thousands of people get the legal help they need when they've needed it the most. And if we're not able to help or aren't the right lawyer for you, we'll do the best to point you in the right direction. If you've been injured, call the law offices of John Day for a free consultation. And remember, there's no fee unless we win your case.
Now, WGNS Good Neighbor Events. The Music Man is coming to the Arts Center of Cannon County in neighboring Woodbury. It's a week away, January the 23rd through February 7th. Don't miss the Music Man. The Smyrna Lions Club is having a Sweetheart Dance on Saturday, February the 14th at the Smyrna Events Center. Not only does it include a dance, but a delicious dinner. That's the Smyrna Lions Club's Casino Royale Roulette and Romance, a Sweetheart Dance, at the Smyrna Event Center on the Sam Ridley Parkway in Smyrna. Single tickets are $100 or $180 per couple, and that includes the dinner. There's a free grief support group meeting every Wednesday morning at 10 at the St. Clair Senior Center. That's at 325 St. Clair Street here in Murfreesboro. The Red Cross is still critically low on blood. Please give the gift of life at the Red Cross. Phone 800-RED-CROSS and make an appointment to give blood at a time that fits your schedule. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor Events.
Rutherford weather.
Periods of rain showers here for this afternoon with cloudy skies and a high in the upper 40s. Tonight, decreasing clouds, a low around 19. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki from the WGNS Rutherford Weather Center. Currently, it's 47.
Broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios. MTE serves members with more than just electricity. Their community outreach team works with schools, parents, and students to provide engaging and unique learning experiences. MTE serving to make life better since 1936.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Welcome back into the Roundtable on this Wednesday. Jen Grafton is joining us. She is a personal trainer here in Murfreesboro, but she kind of went through a little bit of her life story. And you said you did some training on TV. Where were you? Because I remember back going to college, we had what was the girl, Denise?
Yeah.
What's her name? And then you had the other guy that you had the folks on ESPN back before ESPN had all their programming. You'd have the exercise shows and all that. So, I mean, you kind of fit right in.
Yeah, I watched all of those and did those like on my lunch break when I was home in the summer from school. But yeah, I train online. So I train through virtually. All my clients, all of my clients, I train virtually. So I am on TV from 6 in the morning until like 5 in the afternoon. So I do have several that come to me. If you're in Murfreesboro, I have a gym in my home. And so you can come here and have, in-person training. But if I have clients that travel to the beach, I have a client in Longboat Key right now. So she trains 3 days a week. So I can train you like you can't get away from me. I can train you wherever you are.
Okay. And the thing is, you can go to Jen's Facebook page and kind of get some stuff there to kind of get you on the right path. But obviously, if you want to dive into it very seriously and be consulted on a regular basis, I mean, this is what she does. This is her job, and so just be aware of that. All right. We're gonna. I want to talk about nutrition first of all, and spend this segment talking about nutrition, and we'll dive further into the workouts and training like that in our third segment. But in to kind of kick this portion of the program off, when we're talking about nutrition, what are the biggest challenges, no matter what the age is right now, from a nutritional standpoint of, for adults or children? And obviously we've seen food costs go up, things like that. But what, in your mind, what are the biggest challenges for people to eat well?
Processed foods have become such an easy grab. That's one of the worst things that you can do, are the processed foods, fried foods. Sugar is in everything. And so that, breaking that habit or breaking that desire is one of the hardest things, but also one of the biggest things that can change your mood, your body, your health, is to not do those things. And so and you'll feel so much better when you do change, get away from those things. And I always say, eat foods that are beneficial to your body. Don't eat anything that doesn't benefit you. If it tears you down, if it makes you feel bad, if it makes you carry weight. So that's what I encourage, is just whole clean foods, real food. And if you look at it, blueberries, if you buy a container of blueberries, they're $7, but if you buy a bag of frozen blueberries, they're $3. So your pricing is really better if you eat this way. If you eat clean. Anyway, cereal's super expensive and it's just trash. So
yeah, it's one of the things I've always found that is so hard for me to figure out, and is that you talk about processed foods. Obviously, if you process things, that means more work is going into it. Why is processed foods cheaper than whole foods, or, as you like to put it on your Facebook page, no ingredient foods?
And it's really not. My broccoli is a couple bucks for broccoli. My chicken is $12 for 6 or 7 breasts. So chicken breast. And so it's not really, when I look down the aisles at Little Debbie's and cookies and all the things, all that stuff is pretty expensive. Cokes can be pricey, and
they've gone through the roof.
Yeah. So frozen foods. So everything's more expensive. But I think if you'll get out, especially in the summer, if you can go to farmers markets and get your veggies and stuff, that's going to be a better cost, option for you also. And then also better for your health. And also, if you're eating that junk, you're going to be spending money medically anyway. So you're going to spend your latter years, doctor's office, medications, sick, not working. So the worse you eat, the less you're going to work. So you're just going to have less money anyway. So.
Yeah. Now for kids, and all parents want to do right by their kids. There's no question about that. But, with working and, school and all of that, to get your kids started on a healthy path to where, they're not turning their nose up at broccoli or asparagus or spinach or whatever other colorful foods are out there, is it best to start them as young as you can?
Always started. My son ate everything. Chad's 34 now. But he would eat all foods. But then my daughter Emma had a texture issue. But I made them try a bite. And so Emma would gag on broccoli because texture was weird. And so, but now she eats broccoli. So I just keep pushing it. Like we didn't have Cokes in the house, and we didn't have junk at all. And so I really tried to, I wasn't as strict as I am now. With them when they were young, we still had goldfish and junk like that. But they've learned they're so much better. They eat very well. And they're very happy that I taught them like how to eat also.
And I can always find an excuse to backslide a little bit, using a good Southern word there. But the thing is, I am most fulfilled from a meal standpoint if I do take the time and make the effort to, whether it is any sort of grilled meat. I love to do stuff on the grill, the smoker, and try to make things flavorful there. And you think about there's a stereotype that kids turn away their vegetables, things like that. But you think about all that has come along in whether stuff you're putting out or stuff that other people are putting out. There's probably been no vegetable that has undergone a renaissance more than say Brussels sprouts. I mean, when you and I were growing up, we all turned our nose up at Brussels sprouts because they stunk when they cooked and all of that. And somebody says, hey, we can do this. We can cut them in half. We can roast them. We can put a little balsamic on them, or that kind of thing. And now they're like the hottest thing going. Every good restaurant you go into has some sort of Brussels sprout appetizer on their menu.
It has become a thing. So yeah, I mean, you can make vegetables delicious, like roasted, I like a lot of steamed veggies, and I just like the taste of vegetables. But I think it's best to start your kids really young to at least give everything a try. And then as they age or as they grow, they'll like it a little more. And then those are their options. I really think our schools need better options for food. Like, it is really, really bad in the schools for what they're getting to choose.
Yeah. And, we just went through a situation with the government shutdown where families who get subsidies, and the subsidies are supposed to be for good foods for your kids, things like that. And obviously, stuff comes in from the fringe, along the way as those programs change. And, and it's been a challenge, for people. Beef has gone up. Chicken has not gone up quite as bad. Pork has not gone up quite as bad. But if you want to have that steak every once in a while, you have to kind of pick your cuts, things like that. Milk went up for a while. Eggs went through the roof. Now they're back down some. So it can be a challenge. When you get ready to go to the grocery store, do you make a list and already kind of have a plan in place of what you want to do for the next week? And do you encourage others to do that?
The same thing every week. So my grocery list is the same all the time. And so I buy lean beef, I buy chicken, I buy salmon. I love Aldi because the prices are a little better at Aldi, or you can go to Sam's and, get bulk and do better. And I buy green beans, I buy broccoli, spinach. So those are my basics that I get every week, same thing. So, and I just mix it up, and I eat mostly protein and veggies, cauliflower rice. I love a lot. That's at Aldi's. And so those are my staples, like every day.
I got you. All right. Let's kind of go through some meal planning. And we'll start with the most important meal of the day, breakfast. What do you recommend, first of all, for both kids and adults, to eat for breakfast to kind of get their motor running for the day?
I like oats for breakfast. Oats are a good filler, and they're good energy also. And so I don't know, with children, it's been a long time since I've had littles, but you can do overnight oats. Blueberries, like milk for them and have that for them. But I also love boiled eggs a lot. So I don't know if the kids would eat scrambled some eggs, so and a whole grain sandwich would be great for the kids in the morning before school, with, either like turkey bacon, turkey sausage, eggs, and and a whole grain bread would be great for kids in the morning on the way out.
Some whole grain toast, that kind of thing. One of the changes I made, like with scrambled eggs and things like that, is we all want to have some sort of, fat to give it some flavor and to cook it in. I switched over to coconut oil for a lot of that, and in particular with, eggs and anything that I needed to add, oil to. I went to coconut oil, and I really, to me, I couldn't really tell the difference in how it performed with the food, but it actually added flavor to it as well.
Avocado oil, if you're able to eat avocado, that's a great oil. I do a lot of olive oil. I put olive oil in my coffee in the morning, like a teaspoon of olive oil. And so I use that most of the day, but that's great for your heart, great for your skin, great for your digestion. And so, yeah, those oils are great. Coconut, avocado, and olive oil.
All right. We've done some breakfast planning there. You got that, and I do overnight steel cut oats that are just, it's my favorite thing to do. It's my favorite thing for breakfast, and I love like yogurt parfaits, things like that with Greek yogurt stuff, that kind of stuff when you're kind of on the go.
Like Greek yogurt, and great for your gut. So you want to remember to keep your gut healthy, and you're going to do that through kombucha and Greek yogurt, and kimchi and sauerkraut. So those are very important for you also.
All right, let's go to lunch. What is a good healthy lunch for all of us who are out here on the go?
Prep my chicken ahead of time, so I eat a lot of roasted chicken that I cook in the oven. But I usually add cauliflower rice, spinach, broccoli. I like a lot of vegetables. I love sweet potatoes at lunch. And so you can carry that with you and take that to work and warm it up if you want to. And then, if you have to eat out, you can always find a piece of chicken or steak, and that steamed broccoli would be great for lunch also. So I try to keep my grains early in the morning and lunch, and then not do grains at night and do just vegetables and protein in the evening, because you want to burn those grains off before you go to bed. So that's why we kind of keep those early in the morning and use those for energy also.
Okay. And you mentioned sweet potatoes, and that's another, I'll throw that in there with Brussels sprouts. Sweet potatoes probably 20 years ago didn't have a great reputation, but now, there's nothing I like better than cubing them up, putting them on a baking sheet, put a little cinnamon on them, a little agave nectar, and, roast them up. And that goes great with salmon that I might have done for dinner in my air fryer, which, and salmon is so versatile. You can cook it so many different ways. And from what you told me, it's one of your all-stars for dinner time.
And I eat for my skin. So I eat to anti-age. So if your skin is good, you're good on the inside. So whatever foods are making your skin look good, they're also taking care of your body inside. So salmon is fantastic for your skin, olive oil, but yeah, avocado, spinach, all of those are great for your skin. But I get salmon at least 3 times a week, maybe more. So we eat at Jonathan's a lot, Murfreesboro Jonathan's. And so salmon is like one of my favorite meals there. So
I got you. And so, and what about, while we're talking about eating, what about how can you trick yourself when you've got that sweet tooth and are thinking about that sweet treat? What is a good way to do that in a healthy way?
I love blueberries. So I like to eat frozen blueberries whenever I want something sweet. And if you're not eating sugar, you really don't crave that at all. So if you actually cut it out, that's not something you really want. But also, I love protein. I love a protein drink. I have a salted peanut butter protein drink that kind of takes care of that sweetness also. So you could add that like that with water. So my goal with my clients is that you get you get protein all day, about 5 meals a day, getting your protein in, because that's going to be, if you're able to, if the doctor okays it, because I know there are some situations where you should not get that much protein. But if you're healthy, like that protein is so important for feeling full, and then also for building muscle, which we need to do as we age also. So
all right, so we've got some good advice from Jen Grafton on eating and trying to eat healthy. So we talked about her being a personal trainer and also trying to get you on the right path with what you're eating here in the new year. You know, new year, new you. Here we go. So we're going to take a break, and we're going to, now that we've got the engine fired up with good food, we're going to get you more active. And I'm going to be listening closely. So we're going to step aside. Jen Grafton, our guest today, personal trainer. You can find her on Facebook at Jennifer Chadwick Grafton. Look her up. You can contact her there. She will reply. I promise you, because that's why she's on the show today. She replied to a request that I sent to her on Facebook. More on the Roundtable right after this here on WGNS. All right.
Whether it's a cough, a fever, or something you can't quite name, MMC Now makes care easy. Walk right in, get seen quickly, and your visit connects directly to your MMC doctor. Care you trust, with providers you know, with digital check-in and multiple locations around town. MMC Now is here when you need us.
Murfreesboro Medical Clinic.
Sign-ups are going on right now for First Shot's Winter Basketball League in Rutherford County. Coach Andy Herzer guides kids to sharpen basketball skills and build teamwork through exciting clinics and games. Since 2003, First Shot has empowered youth to grow in mind, spirit, and body. Don't miss out. Join the fun and develop lifelong skills. Visit firstshottn.org today and register for the Winter Basketball League. That's firstshottn.org.
What's the location of your emergency? I think my kid OD'd.
Hi, I'm Craig Harris. I'm County Commissioner of Rutherford County. One of the reasons I ran for office is because I wanted to bring awareness to the opioid epidemic that's impacting our county. To stop providing this epidemic with people as we educate. We have a lot to do, and we have to come together as a community because this problem is not going away.
I've been helping people from Murfreesboro for over 30 years and spent a lot of time there over the years.
We love Murfreesboro. We have lots of friends down there. We've partnered with Middle Tennessee State.
And we found more and more people asking for our services, and at some point it just made sense to open up an office there for the convenience of the citizens of the community and the surrounding areas.
We wanted to actually physically be present there and not just going there a lot.
This is Chip Walters, and I'm honored to be your 2024 MTAR Realtor of the Year. I'm with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates, and like many of you, I've seen the real estate market shift and change. People often ask, Chip, what's really going on? Well, that's a great question, and I believe in answering with solid, factual data. So let's cut through some of the noise. I invite you to reach out. Let's have a conversation about your real estate goals and the current market trends in your neighborhood. You can find all my contact information at choosechip.net.
Local farmers, local meats, vegetables, and other produce at the Winter Spring Rutherford County Farmers Market.
Bundle up and make your way every Friday at Lane Agri Park.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Grafton is our guest today, personal trainer here in Murfreesboro, and does a lot of online work. If you need a personal trainer, and if you're in Murfreesboro, she has a studio in her home. But if you're listening to our podcast or watching on Big G TV somewhere else in the world, and just need that help along the way in a personalized manner, she can do that. So we talked about eating well, good foods, and she gave us some just really good basic advice. Now that we've got the engine charged up and you're feeling like you want to work out and you want to exercise, let's say you're somebody that is in our age range, somebody who went to high school, graduated high school in the 80s or the 70s even, but they said, I've been kind of sedentary here. What is what is my first step of trying to reactivate my life?
Being slow in the beginning. So it's just like working your muscles with very light weights, working on just getting up and down from a chair, maybe working around the chair, working your arms, working your legs. I encourage my clients to work all their muscle groups every week. So you're going to work your back, biceps, chest, triceps, legs, core in that week. And then you'll do it again next week. So I just take it really slow with people who haven't been working out, or at all. And so also walking is an incredible exercise to build legs and your heart and lungs. And so that's a great way to get started, is just to start walking.
Just to walk 20, 30 minutes, if you start out at 15 and then, I was walking about 2 miles a day, and I've had a little arthritis issue. And so now I'm trying to find ways, okay, how can I keep that going? Because, walking 2 miles right now, my 62-year-old knee, tells me, hey, it hurts when you are going up and down stairs. So I'm trying to find, flat areas to walk, things like that. What are, I'm sure you've had clients who've had, arthritic pain and things like that. How do you work around that?
You just see what they can do, what their injuries are, or what their pain level is, and just work around